One of the things I love to do is bake. I do it when I'm happy, I do it when I'm stressed, I do it when I want to give something to someone. And so I thought I'd share with you my chocolate chip recipe. And I want to tell you it really is on the back of the Nestle Toll House cookie bag. I've just adapted it a little bit for what makes people love my cookies. First thing I'm gonna do is put my butter in. I use, first of all, unsalted butter, and I have left this out to warm up. If I have not had time to do that, I do put it in the microwave for maybe 10 seconds. So that's my butter, and then what I do, and this will be one thing that might make people a little crazy, is I add cinnamon. How much? I don't know, just as much as feels good. Probably more than I should sometimes. The next thing I'm gonna do is add my sugar. I need 3/4 of a cup of sugar. And as you can tell, I don't really need this recipe because I do this so often. And I take 1/4 cup, and I have to check, yep, that's 1/4 cup. And I'll add that 3 times. So that's my sugar. And I also want to say I do use a KitchenAid. This is something that Mark and I got when we got married, so this is over 35 years old. I still have my grandmother's in a closet. It is the bigger one, and I'm not sure why I never got one, but love my KitchenAid to use. So I'm gonna open this up and scrape. And I do that just because I like to make sure, like, there's some cinnamon at the bottom sometimes, which I see now. Sometimes the butter gets stuck to different places, so I do, every once in a while, stop and do this. Okay, and then I'm gonna do my brown sugar. And one of the things I always do is I make sure with brown sugar that it is all the way down. So I pack it, is what it's called. And again, that's 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar. So now I'm gonna add my eggs, and because I'm not a perfectionist in terms of knowing how to crack an egg, I do it in a cup to make sure that I don't get any shells in it. And I do that one at a time. I do compost. So I will put this in my compost, and I give this to someone who has a garden to use for their soil. So this is a teaspoon of baking soda, and what I do is I scrape it along the top just to make sure that it is level. And I'm gonna put that in. And then again, compared to what's on the bag for the recipe, I just add vanilla. So I probably put at least 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla in. So now we're gonna add the flour. Now I put in the baking soda. You're supposed to put it in with the flour, and I'm not sure why, so maybe someone will tell me, but I just put it in using my same teaspoon in here and not mixing it with the flour. Okay, and then here's one little trick. I'm going to put my flour in, and then I get a dry towel, and I do put it over because I'm trying not to get the flour all over the place. Then I'm gonna measure up my first cup of flour. Again, I scraped it off the top to get an even cup. I'm going to put this in, and after, I'll put this top back on. Having nice dish towels is also a great thing to have in your kitchen. And I wore black, and oops, I'm getting the flour all over me. I need 1 more cup of flour. And before I put this next cup of flour in, I'm going to do what I said I'd do earlier, which is to scrape the sides. This is to get the flour and anything else that might be on the sides off. Go ahead and pour that in. Lock it, and then I turn it on. I just do the first click on my mixer, But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna start putting it up a little bit, so you'll hear. And the flour is in, so I'm gonna take it up a little bit. I'm just gonna let that go while I talk about chocolate chips. So, I have always used Nestle Toll House chocolate chips. Used to be able to buy them in big containers at Costco, but now they sell their own brand. And my thought was, are they the same? So I'm gonna let you look at the different chips and decide for yourself. Those are Costco chips, Kirkland, I guess I should say. And they're semi-sweet. And I've never asked them, are they any different? And these are the Nestle. So sometimes I found that they're a little bit flatter, but this time, I have to tell you, I can't really see a difference. So in terms of these two, let me just try one. I don't taste a difference. If you want a better chocolate, this may not be where you go to, but this is my go-to chocolate chip. And so what I do now is mix the two together. So for no other reason than just because. So I need 2 cups of chocolate chips. And again, this is a little confusing because on the package, sometimes it says how many ounces, and dry weight and liquid weight are different. And I also want you to know I do add more chocolate chips. So that's 1 cup. That's 2 cups. That's some more, and etc., etc. Okay, so there you go. Our cookie dough is made. Our favorite thing to do in this house is lick the batter and eat it. Okay, so it's time to put it on the sheets. And let me talk with you about my sheets a little bit. I have 2 different types of sheets. Both of them are from Williams-Sonoma. This is a larger sheet that has a texture to the bottom, and I really love these. And I don't use my cookie sheets for anything other than cookies. And then I do also use my smaller sheets, and they don't really need it, but I do put a mat on there that has a great non-stick surface to them, and I've had these for years. Not sure how long they're supposed to last, but I use these on the smaller cookie sheets. So we're gonna start putting cookies dough on the sheets. I try and leave enough air between them so that if they get any larger, they don't touch. Sometimes they do touch, and that's fine. Also, I try not to make them too big, and that's how I put it on. So I do 2 sets of sheets cookie sheets, because I want it to go a little bit faster. A lot of times I'll make these late at night. I just will say to someone, oh, I'm gonna make you some cookies tomorrow. Or I'll think to myself, oh, I need to take someone some cookies. So I just wanna get through them and get them into the oven quicker. So that's why I do 2 different sets of cookie sheets. I also, if I don't do that, so you know, I do put them, after I bring them out of the oven, I do put them in the refrigerator or the freezer for a little bit to cool them down a little bit faster. Again, because I'm just looking to do this the quickest way and the easiest way possible. So I'm gonna put this first set into the oven. Okay, so I have preheated my oven to 325. I'm also going to set my timer for 10 minutes. Go ahead and do the other ones. And then I'll put these timer. So the timer's going off on the lower oven. I'm gonna open them up, and ooh, they look good. Yay, turn this timer off. Put them over here. and I'll put one of the other pans in the oven. I normally like to have these cookies sit for about a minute, depending upon how brown they are on the edges. We like them soft here. So again, if you like them a little crispier, you can let them sit longer. Okay, so one of the things I do now is stack the cookies when they get a little bit cooled off, because I let them sit here, but I do stack them instead of, again, I don't like to use lots of dishes. I do hear the timer going off, but I want to make space for the cookies. So I'm trying to get them some air and stacking them. This with a glass of milk in an iced glass. Perfect way to eat a hot, fresh out of the oven cookie. Hope you enjoy.
Ellen is famous in our circles for her cookies, and rightly so. They are the ultimate comfort food. And my favorite story about Ellen's cookies is one of our BFF's daughters was at her freshman year in college, and she had a breakup with a boyfriend, and of course she was very, very upset. And when her mom asked her what she could do or what she could send her to make her feel better, of course at the top of her list were Ellen's cookies. So we love Ellen's cookies, and we love Ellen.
2008, when I moved to this neighborhood, Ellen greeted me with a plate full of her famous chocolate chip cookies. And lucky me, I have gotten to eat them ever since. I am one lucky girl.
As a self-admitted chocolate addict, I will tell you that Ellen's cookies will throw you off the wagon. You cannot eat just one.